So our topic is environment today, right? So I think I have briefly introduced what these environmental variables are. I think a few classes ago, and there is something called as variables in Linux also, right? But let us try to understand, okay, what this whole stuff about this environmental variables is and why is this important, right? And what are the different commands which we are going to look out for. Good. So, right, your shell maintains lot of information, okay, during our shell session, all right, which is something which we call the environment, right? Okay, our shell tries to maintain a lot of information, right? So generally on any operating system, some of the programs or applications run, right? So programs or applications, right, can use the data stored in this environment, right, to determine to determine info about system configuration. You call it as facts or whatever it is, okay. This is the whole aspect, okay. So let us assume if Tomcat is running on your Linux machine, if Tomcat needs to know certain information about your certain information which can be shared with different programs, then it can use, right, environment. Generally some of the programs have their own configuration files, but along with that, if they want to understand, right, generic configurations, they can use something called as environments, right? So what we would try to do is, in this series we will try to understand the following stuffs, okay. We will try to understand something called as print env, okay. This is one command which you will try to understand, and then we will understand one more command which is called as set, right? Then we will understand one more thing which is called as export, okay, right? And at the last we will try to understand something called as alias, okay. So am I clear on this? So this is what we are basically going to touch in today's session, okay. Now let us try to understand, get drill down into the details, okay. So what gets stored in environment, okay. So understand there are two basic types of data that gets stored, okay. It is very they are very largely, they look same, but there are two kinds of variables that get stored, right? So two types of data gets stored in the environment, okay. The first one is called as environmental variables or environment variables, right? And the second one is basically referred as shell variables. There are two kinds of variables, right? Environmental variables and shell variables. They are very much similar, right? But let me try to tell you what is it. They are different. Shell variables are data that is placed by bash, okay. Shell variables are data that is placed by bash. All the other stuff is considered as environmental variable. All the other stuff is basically considered as environmental variable. As I said, there is a lot of overlap in this, right? So in addition to these variables, in addition to above mentioned variables, okay, we have two other things, right? So shell stores something which we basically call as aliases, right? And they store something called as shell functions. Okay, so the shell functions, we will not be referring them now, but when we speak about shell scripting, then we would try to speak about it. But in the environment, if you consider, there are four things that are basically present. One is environmental variables, shell variables, aliases, and shell functions. Am I clear on this? If someone asks what is there in Linux environment, in Linux environment, we have environmental variables, shell variables, aliases, and then shell functions. Am I clear on this, sir, so far? Okay. So to basically run it through or to understand this stuff, what we need to do is we need a couple of machines, and let me quickly go and create them. Okay. So how can I have two volumes? Oh, right. So, right. Let me delete these two volumes. It has nothing to do with what we are trying to do in the classroom. All right. Okay. So let me launch a CentOS 7 machine. Okay, I'll be using a free machine itself. Right, and then I'll give the name of it as CentOS. Okay, so fine. While this machine is launching, let me go ahead and create one more Ubuntu instance. Ubuntu. Next. Right. Good. So let us wait for both the machines. Okay, as usual, Ubuntu machine, I'll be logging in with Bash, and Red Hat family with PowerShell. Let us wait for the Ubuntu machine to be started. Yeah, Ubuntu machine is started. Okay, I'm opening the Git Bash, getting into downloads folder. Okay. Right. So I'm inside the Ubuntu shell. Right. Now let me open PowerShell. This will be for a CentOS machine. Right. This will be for a CentOS machine. Right. 1 minute. Yesterday there was some update on my operating system, so that's where everything is screwed up. Right. Now let me get into downloads folder. Okay. And let me take the CentOS credentials. Okay, so there is one thing which you need to change. The username is not root, it is CentOS. Even though you would make a mistake, it will try to tell you that you have to log in with CentOS. Okay, yes, good. So now if you see, I'm logging in both of the machines, right? So now first let me try my command. Okay, over here, print env. Okay, and I'm piping it to less. Right, when I pipe it to less, why I'm piping? Because I want to see only one page at a time. So I'll basically show you some of the variables. All right, now you do the same thing over here. Print env this, right? Okay, right. Now let's examine this. Examine the environment. Okay, so execute the following command: print env colon less. Right. So that is exactly what I've done. Okay. So are you seeing some variables over here? ls underscore colors, xdg underscore session, host name, sc linux, term, shell, hist size, shell client, sc linux current range, right? ls colors. So are you seeing some of the variables defined? Yeah. Right. Okay. So before discussing on what has happened over here, let me take a screen capture of this. Okay. So I'll save it. Take this copy path. All right. Now let me get into this folder. All right. So this is what has happened. Okay. So before commenting into what has happened, I'll try to type one more command. Images slash what was it? 70. Okay. Images slash linux 70.png. Good. Now, okay, I will try one more command now. Okay. So that command would be print env user. Okay. And here, even in this shell, I'll be typing print env user. So what is print env trying to do? If you don't tell any variable, it will try to print all. Okay. If you try to tell a variable, it will try to print that particular variable's value. Is it evident or not? Yeah. So, right, still there is some suspense around it. Okay, I'll try to basically speak about it. Okay, there is one more command which also looks exactly the same. Okay, so print env user and print env path. Okay, right, fine. This is what we have done. Now let's execute one more command. Okay, so this time the command would be set colon less. Right. So after that, I'll be executing a command echo $home. Okay, so let me execute set colon less. Okay, here also let me execute set colon or set pipe less. Sorry, it's not colon. Okay, right. So are you using some variables now? Yeah, bash alias, bash arg. There are many other things that I've added over here. Okay, right. Now let us try to understand what is the difference between set and print env command. Okay, so print env command. Okay, let me try to save this. Did I save this? 72. Yeah. So the print env command, right? Print env command will print only environmental variables. Print env command Okay, shows only environmental variables. Okay, whereas set command displays both environment and shell variables. Am I clear on this, sir? Okay, so generally whenever you want to basically see any variable value, every time print env, using print env is difficult. So that's where you can use echo dollar and then give anything bash echo, right? Let me try to print it. Echo dollar bash. Oh, echo dollar bash, echo dollar home. Okay, so echo dollar path. Am I clear on this? Right? So whenever you use dollar, you can use it will print you the environmental variables also, right? So echo dollar bash, echo dollar home, echo dollar path. Am I clear on this, sir? Yeah. So whenever you want to print variables, right? So there is no need for you to basically use print env command. You can use this dollar also. You can use this dollar also, right? Fine. Now we can use this dollar also, right? Now let me save this file. Okay, so we can print variables by adding dollar, okay, to the variable name. Okay, so the moment you add dollar to the variable name, your shell knows some tricks, and then it would try to see that, okay, is there any variable called as the stuff. Otherwise, if there is no variable found, right, let me show you this. I will not be putting in the documentation. Let me put something like echo dollar, okay, qt. It will not print anything, okay, because there is no variable called as qt defined. Am I clear on this? Right? So where do you get set of these variables? You can execute the set command, or you can execute the, okay, if you basically execute the set, are you seeing there are loads of things over here, right? There are shell functions. These are all shell functions. There are variables, right? If you go on to the top, you will see a hell lot of values. Set will give you too many values, okay, right? So these are all shell functions. So if you see there is a lot, to speak about. Okay, so similarly print env. Okay, so for example, if I want to print echo dollar, are you seeing there is something called as term over here? I'm printing term. So is it printing the value of it? Echo dollar lang. Okay, are you seeing this lang value has a c.utf? Am I clear on this, sir? Okay, right. So neither print env nor set commands, okay, show aliases. For that, we need to use a different command. For that, we need to use a command called as alias. So this alias command will basically try to show you what are the different aliases in your system. So now if I go over here and then if I type alias, sorry, saying there is alias called as egrep, there is alias called as fgrep, right? There is an alias called as l dot, Okay, so if you do L dot, it will do something. Okay, why it is doing that? In Linux there is nothing called as L dot, but L dot will automatically pick up whatever is written over here. Am I clear on this? Yeah, same thing over here. Okay, I'll execute alias command. Okay, so now here there is no L dot, there is something called as L. So let me execute L. Okay, so right now there is nothing, but let me go to some cd tmp and let me type L. So are you seeing some values? Okay, am I clear on this, sir? So there are some aliases. There are some aliases. Okay, and aliases created to your functions. And if you don't want, these are shortcuts, right? If you want to create alias, you can create alias of your own. For example, every time you don't want to type the huge whole command of git, okay, so then you can create your own aliases. You can create your own aliases, right? Good, sir. So this is what aliases are. Okay, sometimes you might see a lot of people in Linux world, they create their own aliases for their own comforts, right? So that might not be present in your machine, but that might be working in their system. The reason for that is because they have created the aliases. And if you want to view what are the different aliases, then you can basically do this, right? Okay, so if you basically want to understand, right, one level deeper into this stuff, we need to understand some of the interesting environmental variables and what are their purposes. So let me quickly write it through. Okay, okay, some, I'll not call it as important, I'll call it as interesting. Okay, interesting variables, right? So the first variable which I'm trying to speak about is display. Okay, so this will basically come into a place when you have your visual Linux open. So for example, if you are running on UI based Linux, right? So echo dollar display, we will not have anything over here. But if you try to do the same thing on visual commands, then it would be interesting. Okay, right? So I'll not be writing that. Okay, then there is one more interesting command which is called as editor. So echo dollar editor. Okay, this is also basically for UI. This is also basically for UI. That's the reason why I'm not writing these two variables. These two variables are used in the Linuxes where we can use Linux using UI. Okay, or you will have desktop kind of a interface, right? So I'm not interested in those servers, so that's the reason I'm not mentioning them, right? So let us get started with our variables. So there is something called as shell. Okay, the shell will try to tell you the name of your shell program. Okay, let me quickly do this. I'll be doing this only in one environment, but other environment also you should get the same stuff. Okay, there is environmental variable or the variable called as home. Okay, home is the path of your home directory. Okay, so whenever you try to create your user in Linux, it will have some home directory around it. So if you want to understand what is a home directory, you can use echo dollar home. Okay, right? So there is a variable called as lang. Okay, so this defines the character set. Okay, so for example, you would not see a lot of differences in this. Okay, let me try echo dollar lang are using UTF-8. Over here echo dollar lang, it is also UTF. But are you seeing there is something called as en underscore us over here? Okay, so this will also try to tell you the character set and also the order of your, there is something called as correlation order of your language. Okay, right. Now let me try to do one more thing. Echo dollar. Okay, let me try to do this. Okay, right. So let me get into cd slash TMP. Sorry, see, there is something called as old PWD. Okay, so if you want to go into the previous directory which you have came from, there is a password which would basically do that. Okay, yeah. While using echo, no sir, we are using environmental variables, right? Why will directory path matter? Okay, Shiva, directory path doesn't come into play when you are dealing with environmental variables. Okay, we are, if you are speaking about printing, yeah, right. So am I clear on this? We have old PWD. Okay, so this old PWD will try to tell you what? Previous working directory. If you want to move away to your previous working directory, there is no need for you to basically do a lot. Okay, and path, I have spoken about this variable. Okay, a colon separated list of directories that are searched when you enter, okay, the name of your executable program. Remember, I have configured Terraform in my initial classes. Okay, so when I configure Terraform, I had to give the home directory of Terraform. Then what is that I have done? I have added that variable to path. Yeah, so path is a very important variable, right? If you have copied something and if it is trying to tell unable to find the command, that means that you have not added the directory where your executable is present to the path. Okay, right. Now basically there is one more interesting thing which is called as PS1. Okay, so let me try to do echo dollar PS1. What is this? Okay, right. So this is called as prompt string one. This is called as prompt string one. Okay, so right now basically this prompt string will basically try to tell you how your prompt should appear, whatever you are seeing over here. Am I clear on this? Okay, when we basically go into regular expressions, we'll be understanding a little bit of that. But are you seeing Ubuntu at the rate some IP address is appearing? That has something to do with that PS1. Okay, you can customize it. Okay, so and then I'll use something called as user. User will basically define your username. If you want to know what your username is, echo dollar user. Okay, same thing over here, echo dollar user. Here we'll get CentOS. Okay, similarly there is one more thing, echo dollar. I think it might not be present in all the operating systems. Let me see if it is present in Ubuntu. Okay, no, right. There is one more stuff which is present TZ. It is not very it might not be present in all the distributions, but it will try to tell you what is your time zone. Okay, this is all good, right? So these are all the environmental variables, but how are the environmental variables, or I'll call it as how is this whole environment established? Okay, okay, so when I say environment, I'm speaking about environmental variables, I'm speaking about shell variables, I'm speaking about aliases, I'm speaking about shell functions, right? So how this whole stuff basically gets loaded, right? So let me try to take the help of Xmind over here. Okay, so generally what happens is, okay, when we log in into Linux, into the Linux system, okay, your bash, right? Bash program starts and reads series of configuration scripts. Okay, and these scripts are something which we call as startup files. When we log in into Linux system, what is happening? There are some series of configuration files that are read by Linux, and those are called as what? Startup files. This is very, very important, right? Please understand this. If you understand this, most of your problems will be solved. Okay, right? So now the exact sequence, okay, exact sequence of files depends on, okay, type of the shell you have started. Okay, and there are two types, right? The first one is generally what you and me use, a login shell type, a login shell session. So whenever you do SSH, okay, so let me try. This is the one in which we are prompted for username and sorry, password. Okay, right. So this is the daily, whenever we use SSH based login, this is what happens. And the second one is a non-login shell. Okay, so this generally gets loaded. Okay, this generally gets loaded or occurs, okay, when we launch a terminal in GUI. In Linux also there are some GUI based Linuxes, right? So that is where non-login shell comes into play. Am I clear with these two things? Login shell and non-login shell. Okay, so let us worry about what this login shell structure is. Okay, so right now I'm interested in login shell. Okay, login shell, what are the files that are loaded? Okay, so let me basically change the structure and org chart up to down. Yes, good. Okay, login shell, startup files, right? So whenever you use SSH, the first file that gets loaded is in here /etc/profile. Am I clear on this? Okay, and after /etc/program file, okay, all right. Let me change the structure. Yeah, okay. Man, what is this? Right. After this, then what happens is, oh man, this is not working out to be good. Structure, tree chart, right? Okay, let me try it. /etc/profile. Okay, and then the next file that gets over here is, okay, in your home directory there will be a file called as .bash_profile. So if any file name starts with dot, what does that mean? Any file that starts with dot, what that does mean? What that does mean, right? When does that come into play? Okay, right. The second one is good. Dot means it is hidden, not root, sir, not root, madam. It is hidden. Okay, right. So the next file that can be loaded is bash_login. Okay, and then at the last, okay, the file that can be loaded is in your home directory. You will have a file which is called as .profile. Now let us try to see what happens. Okay, so these are the files. Now at c.profile, this file, okay, It is a global configuration file. Okay. Yeah, it is a global configuration script. Let me call it in this way. Script that applies to all users. So when any user logs in into your machine, the first file that's get loaded is etc/profile. Okay. And then bash profile. This is a user's. Okay. You can configure your startup personal startup file. Okay. So here you can extend or override settings. Whatever have been defined in etc profile, if you want to change them, you can change them. Okay. So bash login file comes into play. Understand this. Bash login file comes into play only if bash underscore profile is not found. Am I clear on this? If you don't have a bash underscore profile file, then bash underscore login comes into play. Okay. So if both bash underscore profile and bash underscore login, okay, are not found, then this file will be read. Okay. So these are the files where your Linux is trying to load environmental variables from. Am I clear on this, sir? Yeah. So whenever you log in into your Linux machine, this is basically what happens. So if you want to define environmental variables, okay, this is the best place, because whenever you log in, these files come into play. Am I clear on this? Am I clear on this, sir? Yeah. So if it is a non-login shell, then it will have its own startup kind of a stuff. Let us see what is there in that files. So first sudo vi etc/profile. So I think there is some script. Is there some script present over here? Okay. We might not understand today what this stuff is, but is there something over here? Okay. Good. Okay. Once we know a little bit of the, basically there is some very simple conditions which are mentioned over here, right? But whatever it is. And then the next thing is, in my home directory, I might have a file which is called as, are you saying there is no bash profile? Okay. So the environmental variables basically are not mentioned over here, but I can create a bash profile. I can create bash underscore profile. Okay. And then I can create an environmental variable. Okay. By saying export my env equals to temp. Okay. Now let me log in, log out, and log in into this environmental variables, log in into this machine, and then print env. What was that? My env, right? Echo dollar. Are you seeing tmp? Okay. Now if you basically use set command, okay, in the set command you will be able to find my env. In print env also you would be able to find my env. Okay. So are you seeing this? Yeah. So whenever you want to add any of the environmental variables, you can add in these files. These files might be present or might not be present. Okay. Right. So there is one more file. Okay. So which will basically get loaded whenever you are starting your system. That is etc/environment. So are you seeing path variable value comes from here? Okay. right? So we will have one session or few sessions where we try to understand how Linux works. Then we will be getting into this. Okay, right. So what will happen in non-login sessions? Non-login sessions, the story is simple. Okay, so non-login session startup files. Okay, so here, sorry, let me structure rechart, right? Okay, here you will have a file which is something which we call as /etc/bash.bashrc. Okay, and then there will be a next file which will be the home directory dot bash rc. Okay, so this etc bash rc is basically a global configuration script. Okay, for all users. Okay, so this bash rc is a user's personal startup file. Am I clear on this? Login sessions and non-login sessions. Non-login sessions. Okay, right. Basically, right, whenever we want to work on these files, we need to understand a bit on how this stuff works. Okay, right. So if you want to understand how this bash profile works, let me try to get into this CentOS machine. Okay, and in this CentOS machine, okay, let me get into vi bash underscore profile. So are you seeing a file? So what is written over here? There is some script. Okay, and then are you seeing there is something called as path? Yeah, the first line which you are seeing is a hash, which is a comment, right? And now once you scroll down, okay, the section which you see over here, this one, okay, we'll speak about this, but these kind of commands are basically called as compound commands. For now, what I would try to do is, okay, what it is trying to tell is if there is a file called as bash rc that exists, then read the bash rc file. Whatever I have highlighted, what does that mean? If there is a file called as bash rc, okay, then try to read that file. Am I clear on that, sir? Okay, but when we learn shell scripting, then we will understand what that is. Did you understood whatever I'm trying to tell over here? Yes or no? Right, in your home directory, if there is a file called as .bash rc, then read that file. Okay, so after you finish reading that file, go and change the environmental variable path and add this folders also to the environmental variables, right? Am I clear on this? Now if you get into vi slash dot bash rc, here see what is presented. There is nothing over here. It is trying to tell that if the file etc:bash rc presents, then go and read that etc:bash rc. Okay, and then he is trying to tell that if you want to add some functions, you can basically go ahead and add some functions over here. Okay, so once we understand little bit of shell scripting, then we will be able to basically understand this loading and all of that stuff. But what we would do is, let us try to install Java now. Okay, shall we do install Java? Okay, so to experiment, let's install Java. Okay. So I'll go into this machine and then I'll say sudo apt-get install openjdk -8 -jdk. Don't worry about that command. For now, even if you remember that, I am okay with this. So this is the command on Ubuntu. Okay. Now let me run this. Okay. I have to do one more thing before this. Sudo apt-get update. Okay. Right. Now let me install this. So Java is getting installed. Let me try to install Java also over here, but I don't remember that. So let me execute a search command. We will be learning package management. Don't worry about these commands, whatever I'm typing right now. JDK. Okay. So fine. I'll try to use this. Sudo yum install. Sorry. -y. Right. So Java is getting installed. So will Java is a program? Do you agree with that? Yes or no, sir? Guys, I'm not getting any response. Should I stop the class? Oh, is it 6 already? That's the reason. Okay. 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 Right. So we'll do one thing. We will set up this Java environment in our next class. Okay. So I'll stop at this point. Right. Right. Okay. Fine. Okay. So we'll do this Java environmental variable setup because it is time. I think yeah. Right. So I'll stop it at that, and tomorrow we will elaborate on this environments, and we will try to see the importance of path variable and how can you use this bash profile, dot profile files, and all of that stuff. Right? Thank you, sir.
Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe our channel and click on bell icon.